Something tells me you clicked on today's video because you're getting pumped about a certain future Universal Orlando vacation of yours, or at least you're hoping to take one later on. So am I right? Tell me I'm right, because if I am, then today's video is going to make sure you are prepared for that future vacation before you even step foot through those park gates. Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog, but instead of Disney blogging today, we're Universal vlogging. Universal Orlando has been giving Disney a run for its money lately with all its Epic Universe updates and recent park additions. But we want to make sure that if you're planning on going to Universal soon, you know what you must do before you start taking on these parks. Now, let's start out with how we prepare for a Universal vacation, right? It's a whole new world out there, but not in the Aladdin's magic carpet ride sort of way. The things we pack for Universal aren't exactly the same things we pack for Disney. While some of the things we pack do overlap, like that sunscreen and sturdy park shoes and quick dry clothes, other things might be more Universal specific, like for instance, smaller belt bags or fanny packs feel way more essential here. I'm not saying we can't take these to Disney, because we do take them to Disney, but several of Universal Orlando's major rides use those complimentary locker systems where you're going to be required to store your loose articles before you get in line. With some rides, you might be able to keep your belt bag on and not have to worry about storing it in a locker, but for other rides, you're going to have to make sure everything's stored in a locker before you go. Now, if your bag is too big for those complimentary lockers the ride provides, then you're going to have to invest in a bigger ride locker too. We're going to need a bigger locker, which will cost you about $3 per half hour or $25 for the day instead of being free like the complimentary lockers, because that's what complimentary means. Thanks, AJ. You're welcome, AJ. Now, what about a tumbler holder cup? That can also be nifty to have on hand inside these parks, since you can purchase a Universal Coke Freestyle cup at the start of your park day and get free soda and icy refills at participating locations all day long. Now, these cups are going to cost around $18 or $16 each if you buy two, or $14 each if you buy three or more. But when you want to reactivate any of those cups for your next visit, you'll pay just $11 per cup and have the ability to go hog wild at the Freestyle soda station all over again. So that little tumbler holder can be mighty handy when you're sporting that small belt bag but still need a place to hold your refillable cup. Keep in mind that when standing upright, the refillable mugs aren't going to fit in the complimentary lockers, but they will fit if you lay them down flat, so make sure your drink is finished and your cup is cleared out if you want to keep your refillable mug inside the free storage units instead of having to pay extra to keep your stuff safe. Next thing you want to plan a little differently for Universal, which I think is probably one of the most important things, is considering getting an express pass if it's worth it for you. While investing in an express pass for Universal isn't always going to be worth it, it's always worth thinking about, because Universal's express passes are going to help you bypass the standby queues in exchange for much, much, much shorter lines. There are two types of express passes you can purchase. The regular express pass is going to help you bypass all those different ride lines once per day. The unlimited express pass is going to help you bypass the ride lines as many times as you want to. So I'm going to give you a quick pros and cons list for why express passes can be worth your hard-earned cash. And they're very expensive, as well as why they might not be worth it. So pros. 1, they're super easy to use. We have had our work cut out for us with all of Disney's recent Lightning Lane changes, but when it comes to Universal's express passes, it's really easy. You have a pass? Great. Just walk up to the front of the express line for whatever ride you want to bypass the standby queue for and scan your pass. Bada bing, bada boom, you're in. There's no pre-scheduling. There's no need to worry about a certain ride getting all its express passes taken up before you get the chance to use it. You just scan and go. It's easy as that. You don't even have to set it all up on your phone. 2, you'll get the unlimited express passes for free with a Premier hotel stay. Now, if you're already planning on staying at a Universal Premier hotel, like Loews Portofino Bay, Hard Rock, or Loews Royal Pacific, then you don't really have to weigh the pros and cons of an express pass purchase, because you're just going to get it for free along with your Premier hotel stay. And because Universal's Premier hotels tend to cost around the same price as a stay in one of Disney's moderate resorts, that bundled room and express pass price might be worth the hotel stay in and of itself. Now let's talk cons. 1, if you're not staying at a Premier hotel, these are expensive. Here's the thing, express pass prices are steep, really steep. way more expensive than you're going to pay for MultiPass at Disney World. MultiPass is going to cost you around $15 to $39 per person per day, depending on when you visit and which park you go to. A standard Express Pass at Universal is going to cost you between $90 and $350 per person per day, and unlimited Express Passes will cost you between $100 and $380 per person per day. Again, depending on the time of year that you visit. And yeah, that's on top of what you're already paying for the tickets alone. Now, if you're staying at a premier hotel, you're not going to have to worry about that extremely weighty extra investment. But if you're staying literally anywhere else, then this is an investment you're going to want to really think about before you commit to it. I mean, if you were to buy a $350 Express Pass for one day for your family of four, you're already over $1,000 right there. So, I mean, choosing to pay $350 for a hotel room instead and getting all those Express Passes for free, that's probably the better deal. Anyway, second con, they do not work for Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. Whether you invest in standard or unlimited Express Passes, you'll be able to bypass the lines for all the rides across the two parks except for two inside Islands of Adventure. The first is Pteranodon Flyers, but that's more because this is an experience where riders must be between 36 and 56 inches tall to ride. If you're any taller than that, then your riding companion will need to fall into that height range in order for you to get the all clear to ride as well. And the second is the incredibly popular Hagrid's Motorbike Adventure. Now, that's the real deal breaker right there, because Hagrid's tends to see the longest waits during the day. So paying all that money for an Express Pass and then still finding yourself in the same waiting game as everyone else who didn't purchase one is kind of unfair. But if you're trying to cut down your Hagrid's wait as much as possible, avoid getting in line for this coaster during the heat of the afternoon when the queue can quickly rack up a wait that's 2+ hours. Instead, try getting in line for this one at the very beginning of the day or in the last hour or so of the day. Or better yet, if you're a Universal Hotel guest for any of their hotels, you might have the hotel privilege of being able to enter one of the two Universal parks and access the Wizarding World areas, plus the Jurassic Park area and Islands of Adventure, one whole hour before the general public can. Check the Universal early park admission calendar ahead of your trip via the Universal website, and you can plan your Islands of Adventure visit when this early entry benefit is going to be on your side, and then jump in that line for Hagrid's as soon as you get in there. Now, let's talk about the differences in planning ahead for your trip. Just like any Disney World trip, you're going to want to pre-plan what you want to prioritize during your Universal Orlando vacation before you go to make sure you don't miss the things that are on the top of your must-do list. This will be especially crucial if you're planning to visit the parks after Epic Universe opens, since this whole Universal shindig will become a much more planning-intensive experience post-third gate. But not to worry, we'll be there to cover it all and help walk you through all the good, the bad, and the confusing. Now, according to Universal themselves, Epic Universe is going to bring more than 50, that's right, 50, awe-inspiring attractions, entertainment, dining, and shopping experiences once it opens. But amongst the crowds and the limited vacation window you might already have set aside for your Orlando getaway, experiencing all 50 of those new things, plus squeezing in the other Universal Orlando experiences that already exist, is going to be impossible. So it's best to set your expectations to a reasonable level. List out the top things you want to hit up on each day of your visit and make everything else that you get to see just gravy or icing on the top of a rather epic Universal cake. If you download the Universal app before you go, you can start saving your list of must-dos ASAP. To do this, open the app and tap on the Profile tab at the bottom of the screen, then select the Favorites icon. That's the one with the little heart featured right above it. If you haven't started saving your must-dos yet, then the next screen is going to warn you that you don't have any favorites. But you can fix that by tapping on the Add Your Favorites option to get a list of must-dos going for you. From there, you'll be transported to the Universal Orlando map where you can choose different rides and shows and dining and shopping to heart and save in your favorites list for later. What's really cool about this feature, though, is that you can also set wait time alerts for the rides, too. I love this feature. Disney, please do this. When you tap on a ride and are redirected to its main page, you're going to see a little bell symbol listed before the ride's name. Tap on that bell and you can set up a wait time alert, meaning the app will ping you through your push notifications on your phone when the ride you want to experience drops down to a time frame you're willing to wait for it. You know how else you can start planning ahead and pre-gaming your Universal trip? By scanning the QR code you see on our screen now or heading to disneyfoodblog.com/universal after this. That way you're going to get a free Universal Orlando Quick Guide. This is super easy to use for folks who are trying to plan big trips between their busy schedules and features lots of good info like a full list of Universal ride details, the best restaurants between the two parks, and several sample itineraries that you can use as a springboard to help you plan out your days. Now, I've said this before in past Universal videos, I know, but it's like one of those things that you really don't realize how much of a time suck it actually is until you go and experience it for yourself. If you're not staying at a Universal hotel and you're instead planning on driving yourself to the parks each day, then you're going to have to battle the Universal parking garages. This battle starts when you get up to the front. You got to pay $30 per car per day. After 6 p.m., parking in the garages is free, unless, of course, there's some big nighttime event going on like Halloween Horror Nights. Then you gotta go find that parking spot. After you do that, you're gonna have to take the long walkways over to the Universal Security Check area, which kind of feels like an airport security checkpoint since you're gonna have to put all your loose articles inside those bins so that they can be scanned and given the green light of safety, but you can still keep your shoes on, so that's good. Once you're given the all clear, you go down another lengthy walkway that'll eventually spit you out into the City Walk shopping district. And from there, you'll have to walk the length of City Walk and then either split off to the left if you're starting your day in Islands of Adventure or to the right if you're starting in Universal Studios Florida. The whole process can take a solid 30 plus minutes depending on what time of the day you arrive. So if you want to get to the front of either park before they open, just keep in mind you won't be able to pull into Universal parking with 10 minutes to spare and get to the front of the park at the snap of your fingers. Not to mention, walking back to your car at the end of the night can also be brutal on your feet, so brace yourself for that. Okay, if you are someone who has major screen ride sensitivities, Universal Orlando doesn't actually help that at all. Across the 14 Universal Studios Florida rides, exactly half of them use screen-based technology. This includes Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, Fast and Furious Supercharged, Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringotts, Race Through New York starring Jimmy Fallon, The Simpsons Ride, Transformers The Ride 3D, and VillainCon Minion Blast. Meanwhile, over in Islands of Adventure, you've got 3 rides that use screen-based tech that you'll need to watch out for, including The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and Skull Island Reign of Kong. And that's not even counting the high-speed coaster or spinning attractions across both parks that could actually make you step off the ride feeling rather woozy. So the best thing you can do to keep yourself from losing your butterbeer later on is to pregame the rides with your preferred type of motion sickness prevention. This might include over-the-counter medications, the non-drowsy versions of course, nausea relief wristbands, or even a stash of ginger candies stowed away in your fanny pack. And if you're in desperate need of some upset tummy relief, each Universal park also has its own first aid locations where they can help out guests dealing with non-emergency medical situations. The first aid location over in Universal Studios Florida is in the San Fran area to the left of Fast and Furious, and the main first aid location in Islands of Adventure is in the Lost Continent area, not too far away from the Mystic Fountain. Both parks also have first aid locations toward their front entrances right after you walk past that turnstile. All right, Universal Studios Florida really isn't striving to soak you to the bone, but Islands of Adventure has a whole land with one mission and one mission only, and that's to leave you bathtub drenched. Over in Toon Lagoon, there are 2 Super Soaker water rides that'll leave no riders unspared of their watery fate. First, there's Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. This is a log flume ride that concludes with a 75-foot plummet down into a giant splash. And then there's Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges, a family raft ride that, gonna be real with ya, it's probably the most soaked I've ever gotten on a water ride, ever, to the point where I could wring out my shirt and refill my water bottle. Please don't do that, by the way. I'm just trying to make a point here. Now, while it won't get you quite as soaked as the Toon Lagoon rides, Jurassic Park River Adventure also ends with a mighty big sploosh that could give you the gift of soggy bottoms and dripping hair strands. If you want to ride any or all of these water rides, I would suggest hitting them up earlier in the day rather than later on, because this gives the sun time to dry you off. And water rides also tend to see their peak weights when the Orlando beams are shining their brightest, so the earlier you can get in line for them, the better off you'll be. Also, if you're having a hard time getting dry after riding through Bluto's Boat Wash, each of the Islands of Adventure water rides have people dryers stationed nearby that you can use to help get you all nice and back to your normal dry self again, if not a little frizzier than you were before. People dryers cost around $5 per use, but can fit multiple family members at a time if you're cool with pretending to like each other for a little bit. So how much do you love the Minions? Hopefully a whole lot, because it's hard to rid yourself of those little yellow guys once you're inside Universal Studios Florida. And that's because right when you enter the park, you're stepping into Minion Land. So if you want to channel your inner Minion, which of course you do, right? There are all the Minion-y things you can do to make Gru proud of you. Minion Activity 1. Grab a blaster and try VillainCon Minion Blast. This one's a weird one, y'all, and I think it's weird in a good way, but my brain is still trying to process it. On VillainCon Minion Blast, you'll join the Minions, Bell Bottom, Jean Claude, and the rest of the Vicious Six in a unique blaster attraction where you'll stand on moving platforms while using freeze rays and banana bombs and explosive nunchucks and more to earn points and become a supervillain in your own right. Now, you can also connect your Universal Orlando app to your blaster to save your scores and unlock new features for the next time that you ride or stand, blast, whatever you're doing in that ride. Minion Activity numero dos, eat Minion cooking. So Minion Cafe is a Minion-themed quick service restaurant where Kevin is the head chef and all the other Minions help him to prepare your oh-so-sophisticated meals. You'll be able to dine in the restaurant with its fun Minions theming or pick up your meal to take with you on the go. Minion Activity 3 is, of course, banana. You'd rather snack your way around Minion Land? Well, you can do that at Bake My Day Bakery, which features lots of Minion-themed goodies, or you can grab a freeze ray pop like the Minion-inspired one that's flavored like a banana, or you can grab some Pop Banana popcorn. Guess what it's flavored like? No, just guess. Okay, Minion Activity 4, just straight up become a Minion at Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. On Minion Mayhem, you'll transform into a Minion yourself and join Gru and his daughters and all the other Minions on a wild and unpredictable screen-based attraction. So many people miss out on this cute interactive experience in Islands of Adventure, but I'm going to highly encourage you not to be one of them because, as I just said, it's very cute. Inside the Jurassic Park Discovery Center, your family can learn more about the different kinds of dinosaurs that once roamed this earth through immersive activities like archaeological digs and DNA sequencing games, and best of all, witness the hatching of a baby velociraptor. It is so cute and definitely not terrifying, right? And then if you are brave enough to meet a velociraptor once it's all grown up, you can take your chances over at the Raptor Encounter inside the Discovery Center, where you'll have the chance to take a picture with the one and only Blue, a full-grown velociraptor who stars in the Jurassic World franchise. Don't worry, she won't bite. I don't think she will. I take that back. It might depend on the day. This summer, Universal Studios Florida ramped things up for kids and DreamWorks fans everywhere by opening a new section of the park that brought 3 DreamWorks franchises to life. DreamWorks Land officially opened on June 14th and features a brand new ride, a show, several meet and greets, and interactive play areas dedicated to kids and kids at heart. So, what will you be able to experience when you pay a visit to DreamWorks Land? Shrek's Swamp is where you're going to find the iconic Ogre's Humble Abode, which has been designed into a vast playground with 4 slides, a water play zone, and a slide down Shrek's outhouse, every kid's dream right there. Trolls Village features a family-friendly troller coaster, a play area, a snack spot, and some other cute soft serve options, and a merchandise location. Poe's Kung Fu Training Camp is a play area that brings the Panda Village into Universal Studios. Here you can check out Mr. Ping's Noodle Caboodle, and I thought Troller Coaster was the coolest attraction name, just kidding, which has merry-go-rounds shaped like bowls of noodles. Can you imagine if there was one that just had mac and cheese noodles and I could just sit in a bowl of mac and cheese and spin around for the rest of the afternoon? I think this is a good recommendation for Universal, don't you? Anyway, this area is also home to Poe Live, where you can interact with Poe as he teaches you some kung fu moves and provides nifty tips on how to cook the best stir fry. If you've ever seen Turtle Talk with Crush in Epcot, it's kind of like that. And of course, the highlight entertainment of this new area is the DreamWorks Imagine Celebration, which features many of your favorite characters from the land, upbeat music, and lots of dancing. Now, between Hogsmeade and Islands of Adventure and Diagon Alley and Universal Studios Florida, the Wizarding World sections of both parks are more than just the sum of their rides. There's so much to see and do in each Wizarding location, so you're going to want to plan a good chunk of your time for Wizarding World visits. But what else can you do in these locations besides rides? Well, you can grab a bite to eat at the 3 Broomsticks in Hogsmeade or the Leaky Cauldron in Diagon Alley, but don't even bother trying to get a normal Diet Coke to satisfy your soda goblin cravings here, because the Wizarding World will only serve you pumpkin juice and fishy green ale and other non-Diet Coke beverages. Bring your own Diet Coke, BYODC. You can catch an outdoor performance at select times throughout the day, like the Frog Choir and the Tri-Wizard Spirit Rally in Hogsmeade, which happens on the stage right in front of the Flight of the Hippogriff ride, or Celestina Warbeck and the Banshee Banshees and the tales of Beetle the Bard in Diagon Alley, which happens on a stage not too far away from the Wands by Grigorovich shop. You can pick up a sweet treat like a chocolate frog from Honeydukes or a butterbeer ice cream from Florian Fortescue's. You can adopt a pink or purple pygmy puff at the Magical Menagerie, Zonko's shop, and Weasley's Wizard Wheezy's. You'll even have a little adoption ceremony in honor of your new friend. You can say hello to the night bus driver and his shrunken head companion outside of King's Cross. You can get a butterbeer from so many locations around the Wizarding World areas, but keep in mind you can only get the hot butterbeer at the Leaky Cauldron and the Hopping Pod in Diagon Alley and the Three Broomsticks and Hogshead in Hogsmeade. The outdoor butterbeer carts only serve the cold stuff. You can pick up some wizarding money, aka Gringotts banknotes, at Gringotts Bank Exchange, which you can spend at most of the shops and restaurants in both Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley. You can become the chosen wizard during the Ollivander's Wand experience, where the wand chooses you in the end as its rightful owner. Only one lucky witch or wizard will be chosen per performance, but you can always purchase a wand without having to become the chosen one inside each of the wand shop locations too. The interactive character wands are more expensive than the regular ones, but they do give you the ability to cast spells around the Wizarding World, which is pretty fun. You can visit Nocturne Alley, which is tucked into Diagon Alley, where you can find shops that venture into dark arts territory. And you can wrap up your day with the brand new Hogwarts Always projection show across Hogwarts Castle. This new show takes guests on a journey through iconic moments of a school year at Hogwarts. So Universal Studios Florida puts on some really stellar parade performances all throughout the year. So even if you aren't a parade person, you might still want to take some time out of your Universal day to check it out regardless, because these parades are going to blow your mind. The brand new Universal Studios Parade, the Mega Movie Parade, made its big debut this summer and features references to some of the most iconic blockbusters in the park, including E.T., Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Jaws, Trolls, Minions, and more. This is also the biggest daytime parade for Universal Orlando, featuring a total of 13 floats and nearly 100 performers. And then Universal's got those limited time only parades, like the family-friendly Mardi Gras parade that we got to enjoy on select nights this year, starting at the beginning of February and lasting until the beginning of April, which we assume will be around the same time frame to expect its return in 2025. And there's also the Holiday Parade featuring Macy's that Universal likes to cap off the year with, which will be happening in 2024, each night starting on November 22nd and lasting until December 31st. Now, I don't make the rules. You just have to ride E.T. Adventure, and you cannot question that no matter what. If you've ever been to one of those Meow Wolf interactive art exhibits, E.T. Adventure is like the ride-through version of that. You climb aboard a bike and help E.T. escape to his home planet after Steven Spielberg demands it from you, and you've got to listen to that guy. And this attraction has been delighting and possibly terrifying guests since Universal Studios opened back in 1990, and it's a must-do rite of passage for all. Well, just as long as you're at least 34 inches tall. Now, your Universal Orlando day doesn't have to end when you step outside the parks. City Walk might not be as big and booming as Disney Springs, but it's definitely still got a lot of extra things that you can tack onto your Universal day. For instance, there's tons of restaurants, including Toothsome Chocolate Emporium, Big Fire, Cowfish, Bubba Gump's Margaritaville, Hard Rock Cafe. There's an escape room called the Universal's Great Movie Escape, a movie theater over at Universal Cinemark, a mini golf course called the Hollywood Drive-In Golf, featuring 2 unique courses, a slightly spooky haunting of ghostly greens and the alien-themed invaders from Planet Putt. Sweet stops like Voodoo Donuts and Cinnabon and Menchie's Frozen Yogurt. There's a nice selection of gift stores, including the main Universal Studios store, an Epic Universe Preview Center, which uses AR technology to bring the theme park models to life and get you all hyped up about what's to come in 2025. Live entertainment, which you'll find featured at places like Hard Rock Live, Pat O'Brien's Dueling Piano Bar, and City Walk's Rising Stars Karaoke Club, and lots of different quick service spots just in case you didn't get a chance to eat before you wrapped up your park visit. By the way, you don't have to wait to experience City Walk until the end of the day if you don't want to. You're more than welcome to step out of the park and eat lunch at one of the restaurants here, or take a quick donut break, or whatever else it is you want to do. It's literally right there. You don't have to travel to it. And you should be able to re-enter the park again when you're ready to resume your theme park fun. So now I'm handing things over to you. What part of Universal Orlando do you want to make sure first-time visitors do not miss out on? Or if you're about to be a first-time visitor yourself, what is your number one priority when you finally step foot onto Universal property? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to pick up our free Universal Orlando quick guide right now at disneyfoodblog.com/universal. Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks for watching. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Blog, and we'll see you real soon.